Coach Ross with Coach Ross Football. It's been a while since I made a video, so I'm trying to get back into YouTube, trying to get back at it. So I'm going to be starting a new series here, uh, air raid offense, back to the basics. This is, in my opinion, this is going to be all geared towards my opinion with regards to the air raid offense and how to use it and how to implement it. Borrowed a lot from other coaches. Some of this is my own views. I hope it helps. I feel that within this information, this can be implemented into a youth football program, middle school, junior high football program, a high school football program as well. So again, it's going to be a long series with a bunch of videos that I got planned. I'm going to show you exactly what I have in store here or what I have planned. So like I said, this is going to be back to the basics. It's going to be real basic. Certain things that I would implement, what I would do, what I would include. So have a little bit of a checklist here. Just going to talk about what is the air raid offense and why you use the air raid offense. I plan on talking about some of the personnel used in the air raid offense. And again, this is just my opinion. Many different opinions on this. Free to make up your own mind, obviously, but these are just certain things that I use. And again, more than welcome to use whatever I use here as well. I'm going to talk about different formations. I'm also going to talk about plays and playbook, talking about the run game, the screen game, the quick passing game, and the drop back passing game as well. And there are also other things that we implement into the offense that goes along with that as well. So stay tuned, and hope you enjoy this video. Here is the plan for the upcoming videos. Essentially, each one is going to be its own video. Now, the first two, the philosophy and personnel on the checklist here, are probably going to be included in one. Then formations will be another video. I'm going to talk about certain play selection. Now, again, these are plays that I have used or would use in my offense. If when I was running air raid with middle school, and even offense in the high school, what I would use in the high school too as well. So again, the checklist goes as follows. We're going to be talking about philosophy of the air raid offense and personnel. That's going to be combined into one video. Then we're going to talk about formations that can be used in the air raid offense. Then we're going to start talking about run game, which would be inside and outside zone, the counter and the Q counter, which is the quarterback, because I like to use the quarterback in the run game. Our power play, our trap, the jet sweep. We have now and bubble screens. We're going to talk about the tunnel screen and the middle screen as well. Then we're going to get into some of the quick game as far as the stick and corner, or in other words, snag. We're going to talk about cross, which is another word for Y cross, fade out, stick wheel, the all famous 4 verticals or 6 that was made famous by the air raid, the shallow cross, as well as the famous or infamous mesh concept. Then we're going to start hopping into practice plans and installation drills, everyday drills or EDDs, weekly practice plans, tags, and motion in the offense. Now, this is in no particular order, but these are just the checklist that I plan on going through in a series of videos. Again, it's not going to go in this particular order, probably. So just stay tuned with whatever video I do drop. And again, like I said, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. So continuing with the air raid offense, we're going to jump into the philosophy here. You see in quotations up there, put speed in space. I saw that quotation a while back. I'm not sure who said it, but I'm adopting it because it goes true with what I believe the air raid is you have athletes all over the field and you're trying to find your best, fastest athletes and put them on the field so that you can get the ball to them quickly in open space and let them do what they do. And so it's also a way to run an up-tempo offense as well, to try and just speed up the pace, because you kind of, with the air raid offense, a lot of times you want to turn it into almost a track meet, or essentially you've heard the term basketball on grass. You want to be really quick, all right, because it's just an added advantage against the defense, running plays in quick succession so that defense just can't get prepared, can't get lined up. And you're off to run another play back and forth. So here, the air raid offense is not a set of plays or schemes. it is more a philosophy or an idea. The use of certain plays helps to incorporate that idea. Exactly. So again, there is no set playbook for the air raid offense. There are a group of plays that are highly effective in the air raid offense, but the air raid offense, again, is more a philosophy, a more thought process than it is a set of plays. The set of plays help facilitate that thought process, because you are trying to take advantage of the holes in the defense. You're trying to spread the defense out, and you're trying to pick apart the defense with a short passing game, mainly in the areas where the defense is not, or in those gaps or in those holes. And then you're putting those athletes in those holes to take advantage of that space. So it's heavy in the short passing game, easy completions. That's what you're looking for. Easy completions, because when you start doing easy completions, then all of a sudden it opens up a lot of other things within the offense as well. So you are looking for to highly, highly take advantage of the short passing game, again, by spreading the defense out with formations and then attacking those gaps where the defense is not. Identify your best athletes and get them the ball quickly in space. Yes. So again, a lot of sets or a lot of formations with the air raid offense are going to be 4, sometimes 5 wide receiver sets, and you're trying to find your 4 or 5 best athletes, and you're trying to get them the ball. It's not just focusing on one guy or 2 guys. It's every single player, or every single skill player on that field is a threat to score, is a threat to get the ball. So the defense has to account for every single one that's on the field, not just worry or focusing on 1 or 2. Allow athletes to go be athletes. That's just plain and simple. You can't necessarily coach athleticism. All right, it's just God-given talent. All right, so you have to identify those athletes, get your best athletes on the field, and let them do what they do. 4 to 5, sometimes 6 playmakers to get the ball to any time, not reliant on just 1 or 2. Yeah, what I just said. So 6 guys, including the quarterback, because I like to use the quarterback in the run game as well. It's just one more player that the defense, again, has to account for. So when you have more valuable weapons on the field at one time, then it is a more advantage to you, because again, the defense can't key in or focus in on just 1 or 2 athletes or 1 or 2 players on the offense. They have to worry about all 5, all 6 that can potentially carry the ball or catch the ball or what it might be to potentially score. The use of spread formations to spread the defense out, make them cover the entire field from sideline to sideline. So yeah, that's what I talked about. So spreading the defense out, 4 wide receiver sets, 3 wide receiver sets, 5 even, making the defense account for the entire field from sideline to sideline. They need to be able to cover, because the air raid offense is meant to attack horizontally quickly as well as vertically as well. So continuing with the philosophy here, in addition to covering sideline to sideline, defense needs to be stretched vertically as well. Yeah. So what the short passing game does is it essentially opens up the vertical passing down the field, because now the defense, if you start hitting the defense with short passing game and converting those 5-7 yard completions, then all of a sudden you see safeties and you see corners start creeping up, and then that's when you can attack downfield vertically. Put your players in a position to be successful. Okay, so we're trying to find and locate weaknesses in the defense so that our athletes can take advantage of them. Throw short to playmakers, which if successful will open up the downfield throws as well as open up the running lanes for the running back and quarterback. So yeah, essentially it's in a way it's you've heard before, you run to set up the pass. Well, in the air raid offense, it's kind of just the opposite. You throw to set up the run. Again, it is short passing game is the name of the game, essentially, because you are trying to move the chains and move the ball quickly through the air on easy short completions. And again, those short completions open up other things. They open up the vertical passing game. They open up the running lanes, because now the defense is focused on one thing, you hit them with another, because if they're focused in on screen game, all of a sudden now the running game in the middle of the field is open. So there's a lot of things that the air raid offense opens up as far as what you want to attack and how you want to attack it, because then once you attack there and have success, it opens up another aspect of the offense. It's a good thing to have an athletic quarterback to use in the run game, or can escape the pocket and make throws on the move. having a QB involved in the run game helps equate the numbers against the defense. Yeah. So yeah, this one is my opinion. I like a mobile quarterback. I like a quarterback who I can use in the running game as well. Okay. Because again, like I said earlier, it is just another aspect or threat that the defense has to worry about. They have to be concerned that maybe short yardage, the quarterback is going to keep the ball, or if we run sort of the zone read, that the defense has to use a guy to account for that run, that quarterback keeping the ball and running, picking up yardage. So, in my opinion, having an athletic quarterback who can get outside the pocket, who can, tuck the ball and run, is just an added threat. Continuing looking for open grass. Take advantage of the space created by spreading the defense out. So again, like I said before, formations help spread out the defense, and that in turn creates space. And that space is that open grass we talk about. So you'll hear me talk about in later videos, finding that open grass where receivers need to find the open grass, look for the open grass, whether it's settling up in there or just running to that spot and getting there, running there and trying to find the open spaces in the defense to where the defender is not. Quarterback just needs to read the grass as far as what's going to be open and what's not going to be open. Is there a different colored jersey in that open grass, or is the grass completely open itself? These are the things you're going to hear me talk about, and I'm sure you've heard other coaches on YouTube talk about the open grass reads. It's an idea that I again borrowed from other coaches, and it makes a lot of sense. Again, a lot of this is repetition here. Attack where the defenders are not. So we run routes, we run concepts that attack the space where we think the defense is not going to be. Attacking where linebackers used to be. We like to replace where if defense is blitzing, linebackers are coming on a blitz. We like to replace where the blitz is coming from with a receiver's route. Motion is a highly useful tool to include in the offense. And again, this will be discussed in a later video, yes. But motion is highly useful, in my opinion, for the air raid offense or any offense in that matter. It's because you can do a lot of different things with it. It tells you what the defense is doing sometimes. It can help you gain leverage. There's many different things that that motion does for you, and it's why I highly suggest you that it be implemented into your offense if you're planning on doing the air raid offense, because there's so many pros to using motion in the offense. Not a large playbook. Only a handful of plays use different formations and motions to make one play look like multiple. Keep it simple. It's an execution-based offense built on repetition at practice. So yeah, that's that. And if you've been studying up on air raid offense, or you've listened to other people talk about air raid offense, this is another repetitive point where it's not a large playbook. It's not 60, 70, 80 plays. It's 12, 15 at the most, maybe 20 plays. And using formations and teaching the concepts and the blocking schemes out of those different formations, keeping them simple, keeping them same. You can, again, using different formations and different motions, you can make one play look like 3 or 4 different plays. You can make 4 verticals look like 4 or 5 different plays just by using motion, just by changing up the formations or running it out of different formations or different sets. So this is all built on practice, okay? Because practice is key for the air raid offense. You need to have a good practice plan, which we will talk about later. You need to value your time at practice for one. Okay, repetition is huge. Okay, you've heard other coaches say, and I've adopted this thought too, is it's better to do a few things great as opposed to a bunch of things average. So that's why you keep the playbook small, so that you can work those few things and be great at those few things, because the air raid offense is meant to give a team that may not have the fastest, strongest kids on the field, give them the advantage, because they're instead of just out muscling or out speeding or out are basically just out athletes, having better athletes on the field, they can out execute because they've worked on it so much in practice. They've gotten so good at it at practice. Now they can just, repeat what they did in practice out on the game field and be successful with it. So lastly here, let the kids go play. Honestly, you should not have to coach an athlete after he has the football. Let him do what he does. Again, this is just another term of just talking about letting athletes be athletes. We're going to talk about a little bit about the history of the air raid offense, and before I do, want to just pay tribute to Mike Leach, who was a huge inspiration to me. I remember watching his offenses even back in Texas Tech, that Texas Tech game against Texas, where he threw the four verticals to Michael Crabtree right there on the sideline. That was that play I still remember watching and really got piqued my interest into Mike Leach then, um, about what kind of offense he was running. He meant so much to the game of football, was an inspiration to so many, including me. He was an innovator in modern football, considered one of the starters of the air raid offense, along with Hal Mummy. Coached some of the most prolific offenses in history. He did. You look at his offensive numbers between him when he was at Kentucky as the offensive coordinator, Oklahoma, when he went to Washington State, when he was at Texas Tech, when he was at, his last little stint here in Mississippi State up to his untimely death, which unfortunately, he was taken way too soon. So, like I said, he was gone. He's gone way too soon. We're going to miss him. One of the best coaches in college football, and he will be sorely missed. Rest in peace to the pirate. And like he always said, like he said, we made famous. Swing your sword. So, Coach Leach, we're going to miss you. But this is just one of the true pioneers to the air raid offense. So, if you're looking to implement the air raid offense and you're doing some research on it, this is definitely one man to look up and study, because I've done a lot of studying of his offense and his philosophies, and I've learned a lot from him. He was a true inspiration, and he will terribly be missed. Here, I just wanted to give a quick background to the air raid offense here and the origin. Some coaches that you may not know had some ties to the air raid in college that are pretty well known. So the origins, basically, Hal Mummy and Mike Leach pretty much created it by studying different offenses and making some combinations. And it got started really at Valdosta State in Georgia from 92 to 96, and then really took off in Kentucky, University of Kentucky, from 97 to 2000. They had quarterback Tim Couch, who really he lit the world on fire as far as college football and the numbers that he put up. Another famous coach now, Lincoln Riley, he was doing things at Oklahoma. As you know, he had two Heisman winners and three Heisman finals at quarterback through this offense, with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray winning it, and then I believe Jalen Hurts was a finalist as well. Now he's the head coach at USC, and another Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams. Josh Heupel, the head coach at Tennessee. Dana Holgorsen is now the head coach at Houston. Sonny Dykes, which is the head coach at TCU, they were just in the national championship. Phil Longo, former OC, offensive coordinator at UNC, and now the current OC at Wisconsin. So now Wisconsin, known for a power running scheme, is now going to be an air raid offense. And then lastly, Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator at Georgia, has some ties. Now it's not fully air raid, but he has some ties to the air raid offense as well. So these are just some coaches that, if you're looking to learn from, go look up, film from their offenses on YouTube or wherever else you can find them. And, you can kind of learn a lot about what they do and how they do it. So these are some good sources as far as who to study. Mike Leach once quoted Sun Tzu and his quote from the Art of War, and it could not compare more with the air raid. I mean, it's spot on, essentially. So the quote is, "If he, the enemy, is superior in strength, evade him. If his forces are united, separate them. Attack him where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected." Okay, so again, you're attacking space. You're attacking where the defense is not. You are attacking where they are not expecting you to attack, and you are taking advantage of their weaknesses, and you are not attacking where they are strong. So that's essentially what that means there. So I thought it was a great quote that kind of summarized the air raid offense perfectly, and Mike Leach found it. So obviously going to give the old pirate, rest in peace, his credit with this one for finding that quote, but I could not agree more. This portion of the video, again, this is going to be combined the philosophy and the personnel. So we're going to kind of talk about some of the skill personnel, and this is in my opinion, this is things I've adopted. These are things that I like. So I kind of label them out here. So the quarterback I do not require a super strong arm. He needs to be making easy throws. And really the longest throws I really to truly expect him to be able to make 25, 30 yards down the field, which are not terribly long, but majority of his throws 5-10 yard range. Accuracy is more important, and quick thinking skills are the most important for me as a quarterback. Mobility is equally as important as I like a mobile quarterback. Needs to be able to read open grass, reads based on the concept called. Okay, so needs to understand where his receivers are going to be in terms of where that open space is, whether depending on what concept we're running, and to find those open reads. Needs to understand the leverage the defense gives him. The defenses give. All right, so understand the leverage that the corners are giving the outside receivers, the overhang or outside linebackers or free safeties, or how they are lining up to our slots and where the advantages are. Needs to understand that the easiest throw is the best throw. Okay, so every single play we run, whether it's a quick game or drop back, we are looking to try and hit the easiest throw and take advantage of the easiest throw. So a lot of it is pre-snap reads. So I'm heavy on the quarterback, really reading the defense before he starts into his cadence. So really understanding the defense. So he needs to really understand, where his receivers are going to be, and as well as understanding the holes in the defense. So he needs to be able to think quick, and he needs to just understand leverage and really, really be a master of the concepts that we're running. All right, so F for me is the running back, the feature running back. Will be heavily used in the passing game as well. Needs to be good at catching the ball out of the backfield, obviously. Needs to be able to read and anticipate running lanes that will open up naturally. So I don't use holes. I don't have a 1 hole or 2 hole. It's basically a directional play. And based on the blocking scheme, the running lanes do open up. And so the running back does need to have to be able to read his blocks and anticipate where our lane is going to open up. He needs to have good vision. Obviously needs to have good ball security. Okay, we cannot be putting the ball on the ground. Speed in the open field. Again, I'm trying to put as much speed out on the field as possible, and the running back will probably be one of the number 1 or 2 best athletes on the field for the offense. So definitely I would prefer more of a speed back than more of a bruising power back. So I like to put as much speed and be as fast on the offense as possible. Our X and our Y are typically our outside receivers. The body, I like a different body type for these receivers. The body type is more tall or lengthy type of athlete. Is able to really jump up and high point the ball at its highest point. I like to try and create mismatches here, right? Because typically your average corner is a little bit more of a shorter player. So I like to mismatch it with a taller, lengthy receiver that we can throw back shoulders to, we can throw fade routes to, and they can just go up and get the ball and high point the ball. So we work on high points a lot and constantly in practice reminding high point the football, high point the football. Good, reliable hands catching, obviously. I'm going to be catching some tunnel screens, a lot of screens on the outside, so I have to have good hands. Obviously, again, ball security, I'm going to put that one down as well. And good blocking skills on the outside. We require our receivers to block. We do, because we run a lot of screens, a lot of outside runs. They need to be able to block on the outside. They need to be able to lock up their man or make sure they're getting in the way so that we have positive yardage plays, as many plays as possible, especially when on the outside. Okay, going on to our Z. Okay, our Z is probably one of our most versatile athletes on the field. He's the one slot receiver that we use. So he's a bigger bodied slot receiver. We use him in the slot quite a bit, but can also play, have his hand in the dirt as a tight end, or also be an H-back / sniffer back. Again, good reliable hands, going to be catching the ball quite a bit. Needs to understand where the gaps are in the defense to settle up, okay, because they're going to settle up in the gap for zone. Zone defense is going to settle up in those zone gaps to try and catch the ball and then get upfield. Needs to be able to block well on the inside, as well as I require all my receivers to be able to block well. If you're not going to block, you're not going to get the rock. That's what we say. So if they don't block, they're not going to get the football. And lastly, H is our hybrid player. Essentially, it's like our Swiss Army knife. I adopted this role from watching Percy Harvin at Florida and the way Urban Meyer used him, and I fell in love with that position. So when I am first starting out coaching or first implementing this offense with new players, I am trying to find that number one player, that fastest player, that shifty, that number one athlete, and I'm going to try and identify him first. And I'm going to try and put him into the H because, again, that's our Swiss Army knife, I like to call it. So it's the fastest athlete for the offense, and a player that is really, really great in space. Okay, very shifty, good in the open field. All right. So again, like I said, the best, fastest, shiftiest athlete on the field. I put him in motion a lot. Motion him in the backfield, motion him around to switch sides of formations, jets, all kinds of things. So this player is heavily involved in the offense, probably touches the ball the most out of the offense. It's not the number one, again, because of what I said before, 4 or 5 players are threats, but this guy probably, if you look at the stat sheet, is probably touching the ball the most out of the offense. And we're trying to get him the ball the most. Because he's the best athlete in the things that he should be able to do in the open field, using the run game and the pass game alike. So these are just the skill personnels that I like to use for my offense when I call the air raid offense. So this was the ending of the first video for this series. Again, this series is going to be called Back to the Basics. So we're going to be touching on a lot of different things here. Again, if you like this video, give it a like. Subscribe to this channel if you like this content.